Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Ricky? It's Ryan. How long have you been shaping?
I shaped my first board when I was 13 years old. So that was in 1973. But I really started shaping full-time when I got hired at Natural Art in 1978.
Where are you from and where's home now?
I was born in New York. My dad was in the Air Force, traveled around, lived in Japan. I was introduced to surfing when we took a trip from Japan to Hawaii. And then my dad retired. We moved to Satellite Beach in 1970. So I've been here ever since. From the age of 10, I've lived in Satellite Beach.
Who do you have glassing your boards?
My laminator's name's Rob Opperman. He was a former employee of Natural Art back in the day also. We call him the glassing machine. He can glass more boards before anybody before lunch.
How do you measure surfboard value?
Yeah, well, number one, there's value in the quality of the board and what materials are used and who's shaping it, that will make a board a good rider, The other thing is having that reputation of making boards that work and being versatile helps the brand have more value to it,
What's the first thing you check when QCing your boards?
Well, everybody in here has a certain amount of responsibility when they're working on the board to, QC it to where it's going to the next area, so the next area doesn't have to go back and fix things or tighten things up. For a lot of what we do these days, we do a lot of long boards and mid-range boards with color work and polish gloss finishes, so the finish really can help the board's overall look and value too. So having good finish, good polish, flat sand job, all above really kind of factors into that. Every area is important. Your lamination's got to be tight, your sand job's got to be good, your gloss has got to be good, your polish has got to be good. Hopefully it's on a good shape to start with.
Do you order custom blanks?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of models that we do that have kind of some particular rockers that I have to order the blanks particular to that shape. And then we build a lot of EPS boards also, which we cut our own blanks with our own custom rockers right here in-house.
What's your PU to EPS build ratio?
It's getting back to more poly than epoxy, but a lot of our performance boards and a lot of my mid-range and performance longboards are EPS, but we do a lot of the classic color tints and, retro style boards too, fishes and longboards, mid-range that are all PU. So percentage-wise, we're probably getting closer back to 70% PU, 30% epoxy. For a long time, we were almost 50-50.
Who's been giving you feedback on your boards?
Besides just customers I've had forever, team riders like Justin Quintal, he's the 2019 World Longboard Champion, and we do his Black Rose line of surfboards here at the shop. So he's a big influence on the traditional and classic retro style longboard. I have a few up-and-coming girls that are doing really well, that are very young, but they're actually doing well in the competition. So you get a different perspective from what a young girl would want in a board versus a seasoned pro.
How much are you watching surf contests?
I've gotten away from it. I'll watch some here and there that, I'm interested in either the break they're at or, what's going on with the points between some guys, but I don't really watch it like I used to. I've kind of gotten away from making that a focus on what I'm doing with my brand as far as what's going on with the contest scene.
Custom board versus stock board off the rack?
Well, I always custom. If you want to get the right board, it's probably going to be a custom.
What's your custom to stock build ratio?
That varies a lot. Because we do boards for a lot of different other labels like Donald Takayama and Black Rose and Locomotion. So we're building a lot of stock in those brands. So our stock ratio is pretty high to our custom ratio. But, it's probably still about 70-30, 70% stock and 30% custom.
Do you have any surf shop employees that you'd maybe want to give a little shout out to?
We have a lot of shops. We have probably over 50 accounts that we deal with up and down the East Coast, a little bit in the Caribbean. We don't sell much to California yet. We're trying to work on that actually to where we can get some boards going out there some of my better shops on the East Coast that do well with my boards are Real Surf Shop in the Outer Banks, Sunrise Surf Shop in Jacksonville, McKevlin Surf Shop in Folly Beach, Warm Wind Surf Shop in Narragansett, Malibu Surf Shop in Ocean City, Maryland. Quite a few different shops that, do really well for us. Maritime Surf Shop in Long Beach, New York.
What do you think about board reviews on the internet?
Yeah, we have shops that do that, and it's helped us in sales where people heard something or got something explained to them that maybe they had not thought of it that way. So they can be good for the customers learning about the different nuances between different models and boards. But then on the other hand, you still have somebody's opinion of them riding it or seeing it. And sometimes they can be swayed as far as what they like, but not necessarily what you might like as a customer. So, they can be good and they can be bad too.
What's something most people don't know about Ricky Carroll Surfboard?
People would in general think that, everybody that builds custom boards, works, hard at what they do. But I don't know that a lot of people realize how hard we work at building custom surfboards. And I'm talking everybody in the shop, including myself, put in the hours and the time and the effort to try to build, really good surfboards.
Who's your stab in the darker shaper?
Yeah, there's quite a few shapers here on the East Coast that, I think that are just as talented as those guys that get that kind of recognition. And the guys over here are fighting for that recognition. And shaper-wise, they're just as talented. And there's quite a few different guys that, fit that. There's more and more coming up all the time. I'm seeing stuff from these guys coming up that young guys like Josh Richardson, who competed in the shape-off and won it twice at the Surf Expo. He's a young kid, and, he's as talented as any of those guys shaping boards that get that type of go-to recognition, the household names, I guess you would call them.
What's your craziest custom order?
I've had a lot of crazy ones, that's for sure. One I'm working on right now, I wouldn't call it crazy, but definitely something that you wouldn't think that much about doing about boards is there's this organization that teaches kids to surf who have disabilities. So I'm building these two tandem boards. It's called the Adaptive Surf Program. They're two big 12-foot boards, so they can take kids out there that have disabilities and kind of take them into waves and tandem with them and get them surfing. Something totally different than what you would shape every day,
Do you have anything new in the works?
We're always working on stuff, but I'm one of them guys that doesn't like to just do something different and call it a new model. If I come out with a new model, it's because we've made it, shaped it, glassed it, wrote it, refined it, and then said, yes, we've got something here. Let's make a model out of it, as opposed to we need some new models for this year. So we take quite a long time before I just throw a new model out there and see if it sticks.
I'm going to say a word or phrase, and if you can just say the first word or phrase that comes to mind.
Okay.
Locomotion.
Hardcore surf brand.
Yancey Spencer.
Icon.
Natural art.
Iconic surf brand.
Mark Richards.
Idol.
Mark Sweeney.
Ripper.
Bob Roman.
Good friend.
Space Coast.
Home.
What's the best way to get someone on a Ricky Carroll surfboard?
Call me up.
All right, Ricky. Well, thanks so much for the time, man. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.